ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मज पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठम् वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम्। Okay, Hare Krishna, welcome back. I have received a variety of feedback from the devotees. Hold on one second, I'm going to adjust something. Yeah, I've received different, I guess, the range of feedback. Some devotees feel that maybe I should not get into shloka by shloka because it seems to take a long time. Some people feel that's nice. It's nice to hear the shlokas because it seems to connect us to the scripture better. Some feel I should focus more on application points, which in my mind I have been, but apparently I should do more of it, which I'm okay with that. And some feel just to sort of move through the scripture faster. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to do a mix of all of this, because to make everyone happy is perhaps impossible. But to give everyone a little bit of something at least is possible. Okay. Now, let's see how this goes. If you have a different opinion, you know how to reach me, or you can put it on the forum itself. And that's fine. I read them. Okay. So today, I'm not going to go into any particular verses per se. I'm going to summarize chapter 13 through almost chapter 20. So about 8 chapters. Because if I get into details, personally in my own reading, I thoroughly enjoyed and sort of relished. But I think people may not appreciate, because there's a lot of description of things that are sort of ancillary. And it does seem that the dialogue between Kaikeyi and Dasharatha and Ramachandra, it sort of goes back and forth, because it's a very difficult situation. And so it goes back and forth. So I'm going to sort of cut through all of that, if you will. And I'm going to spend some time today on some lessons that Lord Ramachandra is teaching us through this particular episode. Just the fact that he has been asked to relinquish the throne and go to forest for 14 years. So there are some lessons, and I'm sure there are more that I haven't thought of, but there are some, and I'll be delighted to hear your take on it. So let's start with, first of all, in terms of the spirit of this this entire kanda. Let's look at something here for a moment. Okay. If you remember, the very first verse of the Ayodhya Kanda started with Gacchatam Matulam, right? This is about Bharata having gone to his maternal uncle's house. So the verse says, Gacchata Matula Kulam Bharatena Tadanagha Shatrugno Nitya Shatrugno Nitaha Priti Puraskrutaha. And we spent a good amount of time talking about this verse. But here's the hint Valmiki Rishi is giving us as to what Ayodhya Kanda is going to entail for different people. So that first word is Gacchata, having gone away. So it's an indication that this entire Kanda is about separation, about going away. Lord Ramachandra is going to go away to the forest. Okay, so Dasharath Maharaj or is going to be sending Ramachandra away. However, Ramachandra has gone away to the forest. So Dasharath Maharaj, Kausalya, Sumitra, they all experience separation. Second, Bharata and Shatrughna are not in Ayodhya because they've gone away to Kekaya province. Third, Sita Devi and Lakshmana are also going to go away from Ayodhya, although originally it was not intended that they will go, but that's how the circumstances will turn out to be. So they also go away. Then Bharata, when he returns to Ayodhya and he comes to understand what has happened, he also leaves Ayodhya and goes away in search of Lord Ramachandra. He goes to Chitrakoot. Now, before Bharata comes, Dasharath Maharaj, who painfully has sanctioned Ramachandra's going away to the forest, he also goes away. He goes away to Swargaloka. And because of his desire to see Lord Ramachandra to be coronated, he remains in Swargaloka until the point where Lord Ramachandra returns. He witnesses Lord Ramachandra's coronation, and then he goes back to the original Vaikuntha realm, the original Ayodhya. So he also goes away. So for the residents of Ayodhya, their hopes, their aspirations, their joy, all of that goes away. In fact, they all follow Lord Ramachandra out of Ayodhya, and then he tells them to go back, or he sort of tricks them in one way. But their hopes, happiness, joy, anything that gives pleasure to the heart goes away. So Ayodhya Kanda is all about either losing something or something dear or someone dear going away. And it's very, very, it's filled with sorrow or pathos, as I've been calling it, or in Sanskrit it's called shoka or karunya. So that's sort of the indication right at the beginning. So let's go back to the story where we were. Despite Dasharatha's begging, pleading, chastising, disagreeing, and this and that, he's been manipulated, or he's been brought to a position by Kaikeyi where he cannot defy the promise that he has made, because he's been called Dharmagya, Mahashamsa and all. So he cannot violate the promise that he has made. And it means it comes at a price. So here's the lesson. The lesson is to stand by truth requires a payment, or it comes at a price. every time we take a high road, it comes at a price. And the question is, are we willing to pay the price? Pay the price for what it takes to stand or to tread on the high road. And the entire Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ramayana, all are meant to inspire us to take the high road, inspire us to pay that price, the price of whatever it is. For each one of us, it's a different price. And we have to pay that price, because purification and elevated consciousness, or the association of pure devotees and association of the Supreme Lord, does not come cheap. There may be an easy method, like chanting Hare Krishna is the easiest method. It is easy in that sense that it is easier than performing yajnas or meditating on Vishnu for thousands of years. It is easier in that sense, but it is not cheap. It's not just I put my hand in my bead bag and I utter some words and somehow Krishna will stand in front of me. It's not like that. It takes a price. It takes something from our side. And that's the very first verse of the Ramayana itself. It teaches us how one can approach the Supreme and the Supreme's representative. Tapas svadhyaya niratam tapasvim vag vidam varam naradam paripapracha valmikir munipungavam. So tapa svadhyaya niratam. Niratam means engrossed, absorbed, very, very deeply committed to. Tapaha svadhyaya. And the word tapa just by what it means, tapaha means to burn. So there must be some discomfort. Okay, so we say going beyond our comfort zone. Same word, tapa or tapasya means stepping out of one's comfort zone. That's the price one pays to be able to be in the presence, be in the association of saintly people and the Supreme Personality. It's not cheap. Okay. All right. So Dasharath Maharaj, the time he is now sitting on his bed, completely dumbfounded, doesn't know what has hit him, and he's in a state of deep shock. The morning has arrived. It's about 3:30, 4 o'clock. He has to perform his duties in order to prepare for the coronation ceremony. So his trusted chariot driver and minister, Sumantra, walks up to the door and requests entry. So when he is announced, Dasharath Maharaj says, yes, let him come in. And Sumantra says, my dear Lord, they're all waiting for you. Please prepare. Oh, he has these bards who sing different songs to wake up the king every day. So when they're about to sing and play music, Dasharatha asks for it to be stopped. And when Sumantra sees Dasharath Maharaj in a disheveled condition, the clothes from the previous night still on, and his face completely ashen, his cheeks wet with tears, his eyes completely soaked in tears and looking so sad and pretty much lifeless, he wonders what happened. But he's a minister. He doesn't have the authority to ask the king what happened. So he's waiting. And he asks the king, please get ready because they're waiting for you. And at this time, Kaikeyi says, Sumantra, actually, instead of the king coming out and meeting with everyone, he would like for Ramachandra to come here. He has something to convey to Sri Ramachandra. And Sumantra says, oh, by all means, I'm happy to bring Ramachandra here, but I need to hear it from the king. No disrespect to you. You're definitely the queen. but I am a servant of the king. And unless the king tells me to do something, I cannot do. This is proper regal protocol. So Dasharath Maharaj nods as if sanctioning what Kaikeyi has said. So Sumantra leaves the palace and enters Sri Ramachandra's quarters. Now, the way it was organized, that they were all not living in separate rooms in the same palace. Each of them had their own palace and quarters. So Sumantra had to get on a chariot and ride to Ramachandra's quarters. And he told Ramachandra, "Oh, Sri Ramachandra, your father is eagerly awaiting your presence. Please come." So immediately Lord Ramachandra, the verse describes that there was a smile on his face. And like we know that the Supreme Lord's smile is called Smita Hasa, is very enigmatic. We don't know why Krishna or Lord Ramachandra are always smiling. The smile can be interpreted in many, many, many ways. That's why even when we go crying to him, he's smiling. When we go angry to him, he's smiling. When we share the greatest joys, he's smiling. He always smiles. Even in his own distress, he's smiling. So Sri Ramachandra smiles and says, "I will go." And he goes to Sita Devi. This is an interesting topic. He first goes to Sita Devi instead of leaving the house to go meet with Dasharatha. He goes to Sita Devi and in a very cryptic manner tells her, "I am about to go meet Dasharatha Maharaj. Be prepared." So the commentators, the acharyas describe that be prepared is an indication that for 24 years, we have been waiting in this palace, enjoying all regal pleasures and interacting with all of these devotees. And our promised, we have to make good on our promise to the demigods. We have to face off with Ravana. And unless we leave, we cannot do so. So he told her, "Be prepared." And then he went to Dasharatha's palace. And when he saw Dasharatha's condition, he was taken by surprise as to why he is like that. So he asked, "My dear king, why are you so?" And then he asked Kaikeyi, "Why is my father looking the way he is looking? What is it? Is something bothering him? Because I know that I am as dear as his life, but he's also dear to me as much my own life is. And whatever is the situation that is distressing him, I would like to see how I can solve it for him." So Kaikeyi says, "Listen, Ramachandra, I want to tell you something. I hope that you will not become too upset with it or with me." And he says, "Why should I be at all? Please tell me whatever it is. Don't hesitate. Just speak freely." So she says that your father here has been in a dilemma because he is supposed to fulfill two of my promises. And just now he has agreed to fulfill those two promises. Just as you know, I had saved his life on two occasions, and he had promised me whatever I desired. And so the two promises that he has agreed to is, one, Bharata will be coronated as the king, and two, that you will be banished to Dandakaranya for 14 years, and you have to leave right away. So Lord Ramachandra turned to Dasharath Maharaj and said, "Why are you hesitating in speaking this? I have absolutely no objection. I have nothing that will stop me from going to the forest. If that's your order, I'm happy to go. In fact, even if my mother Kaikeyi is saying it, that's good enough for me. But since you have ordained it to happen, so I'll leave right away. And before I leave, please permit me to share this news with Kausalya, Lakshmana, and Sita Devi, because they are absolutely not aware of what's going on. So allow me the few minutes to speak to them, and I would immediately discard all my royal attire, the jewelry, the silk clothings, and the fancy shoes, all of that, the helmet, kirita, kundala, kavach, all keyura. I will give all of that up, and I will put on robes of a vanaprastha, and I will go. And so with a smile on his face, he leaves the palace. So it is said that when he was entering Dasharatha's palace, his smile was like a beautiful full moon, cooling and soothing like the full moon. And when he came out of the palace, his smile was radiant and soothing like the full moon. So a massive, massive, heartbreaking news was given to him, and it did not change even a bit in his heart at all. This is a massive reversal. He's been preparing to be the king, and suddenly he's told, Bharata will be the king, you will be in the forest, and you go right away. He was not even given 60-day notice. The US government for H1B workers gives at least 60 days, I think, to wrap up and go. Sometimes they have to go immediately. Ramachandra was asked to go right now, right then. So Ramachandra goes to Kausalya's palace, and when he walks in, he sees that she is wearing silken clothes. She has been fasting, and she has Brahmanas reciting Vedic mantras and performing yajna in honor of Lord Ramachandra. And when she sees him, she gets up to receive him, and he offers his prostrated obeisances. And his mother says, my dear son, I wish that you have a long life. I wish that you have victory. I wish that you glorify the name of all the predecessors, all the great Rajarshis, and see, in your honor, I'm performing all of this. So Lord Ramachandra says, my dear mother, right now, I am not eligible for sitting on the throne or on the royal mat. I'm only eligible right now to sit on a kusha grass mat, that is the mat for vanaprasthis, because my father has acquiesced, has agreed to fulfill Kaikeyi's promises that Bharata should be the king and I should go to the forest for 14 years. And the shloka says that Kausalya fell down as a branch of a tree that has been cut off falls to the ground. And she laments like anything. There's the shlokas and shlokas of her lamenting as to why such a unfortunate situation would come about in her life. First she doubts, have I not been pure or chaste? Then she's considering how people will talk about you, how people will talk about us, as to why suddenly these things changed. And Lord Ramachandra consoles her and says, please, please don't get too disturbed. 14 years will pass very, very quickly. So she tells him, I will also come with you. I don't want to be with Dasarath Maharaj anymore, and I cannot stay away from you. So I will also come to the forest for 14 years. So Lord Ramachandra says, by going to the forest, I am following my dharma. But if you abandon the king and come to the forest, then you will be violating dharma. Okay? Your dharma is to be with the king, and you cannot violate it. And he said, well, let's consider. He is the king. So he has every right to give whatever order he likes. And our duty is to follow his order. So you have to follow his order as much as I have to follow his order. And so Kausalya then with weeping eyes hugs Lord Ramachandra, embraces and kisses him and bids him farewell. Then Lord Ramachandra, who's Lakshmana is all the time here with Lord Ramachandra. He's witnessing all this. Then Lord Ramachandra walks into Sita Devi's room and he tells her, I am leaving for the forest. So Sita Devi is naturally shocked. And he tells her, please take care of yourself. Please take care of Kausalya, because it will be very difficult for her. And I will come back to you in 14 years. Okay. Now, after chapter 20 is Lakshmana's anger and his analysis of why Lord Ramachandra should not go to the forest, which I'm not going to do today. Then there is a whole conversation with Sita Devi and her different strategies to go along with Ramachandra. That's coming up in the future chapters. This is up to chapter 20. Now, certain lessons that we can learn from this episode. The first lesson is to have enough or to build strength of heart, to be able to take happiness and distress with equanimity. And that's the teaching in Bhagavad Gita as well. Krishna starts to Arjuna with Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkhada Agama Apayino Anityaha Tam Titikshasva Bharata. That Titikshva means you should tolerate. That's how we translate. What it means is one should have the grit. In English, it's called grit. One should have the grit to bear things that can move a person, sway a person this way or that way. So Krishna uses the example Matra Sparsha. Matra in Sankhya philosophy is the composite of all the elements, mind and senses and false ego together. So Matra Sparsha means this is the contact of the sense objects and the senses. Matra Sparsha. That is all it is indicated by the word tu. Matra Sparshastu. That is all it is. It's not something earth-shattering. It's the senses coming in contact with sense objects. And that is what gives the sensation of happiness or distress. Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha Da. So, and a person who is dhira, because in the previous shloka Krishna told Arjuna, a person should be sober. He said such a person should have the grit to just tolerate it, because what it will go and something else will replace it. And then in 15th verse, in 2nd chapter, Krishna continues, Yam hina vyathayanti ete. Na vyathayanti means one who does not degrade himself. One who does not get too disturbed by these things. Yam hina vyathayanti ete. Purusharshabha. Such a human being, and Arjuna, you're the best of human beings. Purusharshabha. So amrita, so sukha dukkha dhiram, so amritatvaya kalpate. One who is sober and has the grit to just tolerate the comings and goings of life, such a person becomes eligible for spiritual world. Amrita, so amritatva kalpate. So amritatvaya kalpate, sorry. Okay. Then again in chapter 2, verse 56 and 57. And these verses are exactly Lord Ramachandra's life. So I hope you are seeing the connection. Dukkheshu anudvigna manah, sukheshu vigata sprha, vita raga bhaya krodha stitadir muniruchyate. So there are many words that are important. First he says, Dukkheshu anudvigna manah. So the mind becomes extremely agitated by two things, dukkha and sukha. By dukkha, it becomes agitated in this way, anudvigna. Anudvigna means distraught, shattered, and completely uh, out of it. And when one experiences sukha, happiness, something happens. Vigata spruha. Vigata means gone beyond. Spruha means gone beyond sort of awareness of what's going on at the present. So the best example is when one is happy, one becomes so thrilled that they lose their presence or their connection with the present circumstance. That's called Vigata Spriha. They become unconscious to their surroundings, who's around them, what they're supposed to say or not. They just lose all of it. That's the kind Sukheshu does. So Krishna is saying, neither this should happen nor that. It doesn't mean that one should not become sad or one cannot become happy. That's not what Krishna is saying. Krishna is saying there is a range within which one can express one's distress or happiness. For the ones who cross that range, they're called anudvigna mana or vigata spurha. One who goes to extremes. Then vita raga bhaya krodha. In this case, Lord Ramachandra has no raga for the kingdom. He has no bhaya about his future. Oh, what will I eat? What will I wear? Where will I sleep? What about the demons? What about the animals, wild animals in the forest? No fear of what will happen to me because of a reversal in one's life. So no attachment to that circumstance that they had said, oh, this is how I've structured my life for being happy. That's been broken. And bhaya, there's no fear of the future. And krodha, he's not angry with Kaikeyi, he's not angry with Dasharatha. Such a person is called Sthita Dhir Muni. So Krishna is speaking out of experience per se, if you want to hear it that way. Then the next verse, Yaha Sarvatra Anabhisneha. Sarvatra Anabhisneha means in this material world, everywhere you'll find this condition. What is it? Tat tat prapya subha shubham. You will constantly meet in all circumstances, everywhere, shubha and ashubha. That which seems to be favorable to you and that which is unfavorable to you, Arjuna. But a Sthita Pragya is one person, Nabhinandati. He doesn't praise anything wonderful that comes to him. Not Dveshti, nor does he denounce if something goes wrong. Tasya Pragya Pratishtita. Such a person's Pragya, intellect, remains intact. Buddhi and Pragya are sometimes synonymous, but Pragya is a higher state. So he says, Tasya Pragya Pratishtita. So the lesson Lord Ramachandra is giving us is, take life as it comes with equanimity. And for equanimity, one needs to have strength of heart. And for strength of heart, one needs to be fixed on dharma or a dharmic paradigm of life. If that's not there, we cannot expect. So whenever we are feeling disturbed by circumstances of life, the first thing to check is how much am I situated in the dharmic paradigm? Or in our case, we call it the bhakti paradigm. Am I fixed in that? Because when I'm fixed in it, that's when I get the grit to face life and its onslaught on me. That's the first lesson. Second lesson, adversity is the backdrop for gem-like qualities to manifest. Take one of the most expensive, perfectly cut diamonds. It is so pretty. But if you place the diamond on a white velvet cloth, it doesn't seem to shine as much as if you take it and put it on a black velvet cloth. That is why if you notice, jewelry generally comes in a red or black velvet cloth, because on the backdrop of dark, the gem seems to shine better. So in one's life, adversity is like the dark backdrop. And it's on that backdrop that one's qualities should shine like a jewel. And Lord Ramachandra is showing how they manifest, how he's manifesting these qualities on a backdrop of adversity. Third lesson, don't hold, or I'm not saying to you, Ramachandra is saying to all of us, don't hold responsible the instrument of your karma. Of course, Ramachandra is not affected by any karma. But since he's playing the role of a human being, he's not holding Kaikeyi responsible. Okay? Generally, the anger is towards the messenger. Let's go to Sundarakanda. Hanuman has met Ravana. And Ravana wants to kill Hanuman. And Vibhishana intervenes and says, no, no, no. According to Niti Shastra and according to proper conduct, you cannot kill the messenger. You have no right. Then you stop being a king. Okay? So, different people play the role of Krishna's messengers to us by bringing to us some things that are not so easy to accept. Some things that are unpalatable for us. And what's unpalatable actually is the presence of that bad quality in our own self. It's just that the person outside is being used as an instrument to show us that. So we cannot hold the messengers responsible. Fourth lesson, follow the orders of your superiors, whether you like it or you don't. Of course, there is room for dialogue, no doubt. Arjuna also showed there's room for dialogue and all that. Ramachandra also, of course, Ramachandra is very extreme and it's great, but that's the extreme. And he tells Kausalya, please don't think that I'm doing something that has not been set as an example already. Parashuram followed the order of his father, and the order was very, very difficult. Please chop the head of your mother. My gosh, how can someone follow something? But he followed the order of his father. And he gives other examples. Someone else. They all followed. So he says, follow the orders of your superior. That will always come to rescue you. If following the order of the superior brings something else that you had not expected, still because you followed the order of the superior, that brings a lot more auspiciousness than the inauspiciousness that might have come by following the order. Next lesson. To discern what is dharma, what is not dharma is not easy. Is very, very, very difficult. So one way, so think of it this way. If there are iron, at this point, that's the example that's coming into my mind. if you have a whole bunch of iron filings dispersed on the table, and they all seem to point in different directions, similarly, dharma also points in very, very different directions. And so it is possible that you will find something that will tell you in scripture, turn left, and the same scripture will tell you, turn right, or a different scripture will tell you, turn right. And both are correct, but we don't know which one to take. And therefore, the way to bring all the iron filings in a proper pattern such that the picture is clear and visible is to hold the magnet of being obedient to one's spiritual master and superior. That one magnet will align all of the other principles in a way that becomes discernible a lot easier. That is why in the Vedic system, it was so important, and it would be drilled into the head of the disciple to be obedient to the spiritual master. Of course, it's not just military-like obedience, but obedience out of a loving relationship, but obedience nevertheless. We don't find Dashrath Maharaj cracking the whip on Ramachandra, be obedient, be obedient. Nothing like that. But out of loving affection, he was obedient to the extreme way, to the extreme condition. So that's the fifth lesson. Sixth lesson, take adversity as a blessing. And Ramachandra shows that when some adversity comes, yes, it is definitely a challenge, it definitely is shattering, there is pain, there is agony, no denying it. But we are devotees. We're trying to be devotees of Krishna, which means we have been given a path or a way out of that which makes us one with the common people, or makes us one with the ordinary people. I'm not saying out of arrogance that we are better. That's not the point. What I'm saying is we are very blessed. We have become bhagyavan somehow by the grace of somebody who took some mercy upon us. So we've been given a way to break through that, break through the shackles of adversity. And the best way is to somehow ask how this adversity can be a blessing for me. So Lord Ramachandra, when he was told, go to the forest, it is an adversity, he agreed because he thought, by following the order of my father, I will actually get to become austere, and I will get a chance to serve the saintly persons in Dandaka forest. My gosh, I will get to perform austerity, and I will get to hear and serve the saintly persons. And these two are prerequisites for becoming a thorough human being. So go back to the first verse of Ramayana. Tapasvadhyaya niratam. Tapasvadhyaya niratam are here. That austerity and hearing from Guru. Swadhyaya has different meaning, but hearing, you can't study without hearing from Guru. So he took that as a blessing. Look at that. In a different commentary, it said that Lord Ramachandra actually thanked Kaikeyi. Oh, Kaikeyi Devi, you have shown the world that you love me more than you love Bharata by asking me to go to the forest. Because when I go away to the forest, all I have to worry about how to take care of myself. That's it. I don't have no other concern about anything or anyone. But you have put the burden of the entire Ikshvaku dynasty's responsibility of being a king on Bharata's shoulder and made it very easy for me to live a life of relaxing in the forest. So you've shown that you have been partial to me. You're genuinely more kind and loving to me than you are to Bharata. Seventh lesson. Lord Ramachandra, he recognizes, he empathizes, he acknowledges the pain that Kausalya, Lakshmana, and Sita Devi will have to endure because of Dasaratha's order. He's not insensitive to, it's all right, we'll all go, I'll go to the forest, don't be like this, don't have to worry about it. No, he said, I acknowledge it must be very, very painful to you. So Lord Ramachandra is showing that although he is going through a difficult circumstance, he has not lost his sensitivity to others who are also going to get impacted by the circumstances. If someone can mute their phone, I think there's a parallel thing going on. And finally, in all of this, Ramachandra has learned, excuse me, that, or he's teaching us that we can only face any adversity in life if we have the blessings of the mother, the well wishes of our brothers and friends, and the support of our spouse. This is what he did. He talked to his Kausalya, he talked to Lakshmana, he talked to Sita Devi. So we all need support. We all need the helping hands of others. We cannot think that it's a relationship between me and Krishna or me and Sri Ramachandra, and somehow in the time of adversity, others cannot play a role or others should not play a role. We need the blessings of those who are Vriddha. Vriddha is one who are more experienced. We need the support and well wishes of friends and brothers, sisters. And we definitely need the support of our spouse. Without which, facing an adversity is not easy. And it's not recommended either. Generally, in the material context, people think that taking support is a sign of weakness. I have a problem in my leg, so I cannot hold a crutch. If I hold a crutch, it's because my leg is weak. Okay, so that's sort of in this idea. But actually, if you talk to any counselor, anyone, they will tell you, and even the scriptures tell us, that one who takes shelter of or support of others actually is a position of strength. One has to be strong enough to recognize, I need help. And so Lord Ramachandra is also teaching us that. So I'm going to pause there and see if you have any comments, questions, usual stuff that you want to bring up.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. It is very wonderful. I mean, my brain is running beyond my thoughts basically. But I had one precise question, that how to develop that loving relationship with spiritual master, because I mean, spiritual master is one who is very detached and aloof, and he is giving you message of Krishna. Definitely, that is the highest good that he's doing for us. But since I am not connected with Krishna so much, so probably I'm not able to value it that much, and I'm still seeing it as, oh wow, he's so detached and aloof. Wow, he's so detached and aloof, just that much. So how to build that proper relationship of great regard, deep respect, deep gratitude, deep love with the spiritual master?
I was going to say gratitude, but since you said how to build that gratitude, the principle is very simple. When we hear from a spiritual master, we are actually getting gifts. We're getting the gems of his or her realization about their relationship with Krishna. These are gifts, because generally great persons never speak unless invited to, and even after invited to, they generally don't speak. And the only key that opens the heart of the spiritual master is the key of sincere inquiry. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. Guha is a cave. Guha also means the cavity of the heart. So dharmasya tattvam, all the great factual realizations of living a life of bhakti are nicely locked in the heart of these great persons. And we only have one key, and that key is called inquiry. So go back to the first verse of Ramayana again. That is such an important verse. So there's never enough to, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to pull it up in front of you one more time. Tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasvim vag vidam varam narada paripapracha. So that word is very interesting. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that when you meet a saintly person, you're supposed to do three things: pariprashna, sevaya, and you have to surrender to them. So he says pariprashna, and I've said this previously. He didn't say prashna; he said pariprashna. Pariprashna means a thorough and meaningful question. Any question is called prashna, but a thorough and meaningful question about transcendence is called pariprashna. And here, Valmiki is taken at one more level. He said, Paripapracha. He asked with such sincerity and with such acknowledgement that he was not willing to take just one answer. That means he wants more and more. So he wants to ask again and again. A few weeks ago, I did the Sunday feast where I picked out certain verses where everyone who's hearing from their spiritual master keeps saying, na tripyatam, we are not satisfied, please say more. Their dissatisfaction is not with the answer. Their dissatisfaction is of a different kind, that whatever they are receiving is so tasteful, they don't want it to stop. That eagerness is required. Now that eagerness doesn't come unless there is a hunger in the heart. And that hunger only comes when there is actual seva to one's guru. It's called Shushrushaya. And that Shushrushaya empowers a person for Ruchi. Shan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. One must serve such great persons. Shushrushaya Shraddadhanasya, sincerely. Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Then the ear develops a taste for what is going to come from the core of the heart into the, or from the mouth of the spiritual master. So it's a cultivation. We hear, we apply, we get realization. We hear, we apply, we get realization. We hear, it's a continuous process. That is then when those realizations start coming, then obviously one will feel great love, regard, gratitude for the guru for, wow, I'm seeing the world in a whole different way. In Bhagavad Gita, twice Krishna says, first he says Jnana Chakshu, and then we have heard the word Shastra Chakshu. So this is what the spiritual master gives. He gives vision. He gives when we say vision, he gives a world view by which we can understand everything around us. We can understand ourselves and the source of both.
Yes, Prabhu. Very deep actually, and I need to really introspect also, right? Like what am I doing with this hearing? and what is my intention of hearing. So I guess, yeah, I need some introspection, and then further inquiry will be there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Sham Kumpas here. Today was a fantabulous class, Prabhu. It was like an AK-47 rifle with full of realizations coming in high speed. Thank you so much.
I'm going to tell you a
right.
wife and husband joke very soon, but go ahead.
So, I mean, many nice points. Everything is something I feel we can cherish for a lifetime. What you spoke today, this entire class today. One thing I wanted to get a little bit more understanding and get into your heart, to understand your heart on that is, right in the beginning of this session, you said that to stand by the truth or to go through the path, the high road, requires us to pay a price. And we need to ask ourselves, are we ready to pay the price?
Correct.
Sometimes it may be like a youthful exuberance where we think we are ready to pay the price. But later we realize it's probably we're not ready to pay the price at that point after stepping in to do that. And here is where we get caught in a dilemma. If we don't take that risk, we are not opening ourselves to higher realizations and a greater sense of connection to devotees in Krishna. If we don't do that, and if we stay safely ensconced in our current position, then there may be no risk, but no growth. So there is a position of risk, but we may not be acting at our platform. And we are often encouraged to act from our platform. So there is this dilemma here. Maybe you can elaborate better. Is this
Sure.
incorrect understanding?
Not incorrect, not at all. How can you be incorrect? So think of it this way, all right? Let's say you go shopping, albeit window shopping, and you like something. Let's say it's a shirt or something, you like it. It really looks good, the pattern's good, the collar's perfectly cut. Anyway, I forget all that, but it's a very nice shirt. What is everyone's very next step? The first thing that we do as soon as we think, I like this shirt, or I like whatever, the sari, whatever. What's the first thing we do? We look at the price. We turn the tag and look at the price. And if the price is big, we say, no, I don't want to pay this price. Although that's something I want, is very attractive, but I don't want to pay the price. So it is at this point where it comes to, yes, one should take a risk, and that's called the leap of faith. One takes that risk, but sometimes that jump may be too big to take. So one should assess, hey, can I really take this or not? In Sundarakanda, actually it's not Sundarakanda, Kishkinda, before Hanumanji jumps there, all the great warriors, Jambavan, Angada, Neela, a few more, Hanuman, they're all there. And each goes through a clear understanding of their abilities. One says, I can jump only 40 or 80 yojanas. One says, I can jump the 100 yojanas, but I cannot come back. Jambavan says, I'm just too old to take all of this. But Hanuman, you can do it. Okay, so there is a very realistic, objective assessment of their strengths. So between the two ends, don't take any risk. So don't pay any price and don't get any realization of life. Just lead, just the simple realizations of, oh, bhakti is very beautiful process, whatever you call it. On the other hand is take a huge risk that you're not ready for and get so beaten up that you walk away from bhakti itself, because whatever, my conception of Krishna got shattered, my conception of Guru got shattered, bhakti got shattered, just the whole thing got shattered. It's neither this nor that. find how much you can take a risk. Discuss with others. How big a risk is it okay to take? Because to that degree, not that risk I'm talking of the greater you step out of that comfort zone, the greater the intensity of realization, which should be coupled with or balanced by or tempered by, that's the right word, by tempered by the intelligence saying, look, I don't think you can make that jump that far. Make a smaller jump, whatever that smaller jump is. And that's okay. So there is a risk in sitting in the comfort zone. There's also a massive risk in taking a step far bigger than one can manage. So one should take some step outside their comfort zone that is manageable. Even if it is a small step, that's okay. Vaisheshika Prabhu, I just remembered this for some reason. Vaisheshika Prabhu was trying to encourage all of us into book distribution, and many of us were like, well, I have not distributed a book. And he said to all of us, listen, we're all going to go outside the temple today. Okay? But none of you has to distribute a book. None of you. All you have to do is go out and touch the pavement, touch the concrete, and come back. That's it. So what he was effectively doing is come out of the comfort of being inside the temple, come out on the street, don't have to do anything, just touch the concrete and come back. Take that small step, come out there. That's it. But at least it's better than sitting in that comfort place. And whether you take a step outside your comfort zone or not, just by being in the material world, that is going to get challenged like anything. Therefore, that verse, Yaha Sarvatra Anabhisneha, throughout this material world, there is this sense of being affected by it. That's what the translation of the verse is. Anabhisneha means one who's not affected. One does not go through a whole bunch of emotions. Such a person is Sthitadhir or Pragya Pratishtita. But for everyone else, like the common person like me, as soon as some situation comes, I have an affect. I am angry, I am sad, I am scared, I am distraught, whatever is those affects, pain, sorrow, guilt, shame, a whole bunch of things comes out. And if it comes out, then have the strength, take the support to face it and work through it. Then there are greater realizations from it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, this is Radha.
Yes, Radha.
My question is from last week.
Okay, I thought you had a question on Sthitadhir Muni.
Did Kaikeyi make a offense in sending Ram away to the forest? Or was it Dasharath?
Neither. It looked offensive, but it was not. One, because Lord Ramachandra did not take any offense. In fact, Kaikeyi's answer is, I am making sure that you don't violate being dharmic because you promise. And for a king, you violate a word, you're gone. I'm protecting you. I'm protecting you from falling from your glorious position of being in the Ikshvaku dynasty. So she didn't commit any offense. And Dasarath Maharaj, out of helplessness, because he had made a promise, agreed. And so he didn't make an offense either. Because now, think of it this way, it was Lord Ramachandra's sankalpa anyway that he has to go there. So there's no offense. Okay, any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Haribol.
Thank you so much for an amazing class. Full of lessons. We should probably save it for the rest of our lives, as someone else mentioned also. I just had this question on following the order of your superiors.
Yes.
You like it or not. You mentioned the example of Parashuram following the order of his father and chopping off the head of his mother.
And Bhishmadev did not follow. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, sometimes, Lord Parshuram was, of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He probably, or he for sure knew what was going to happen later, and he could revive his mother. And for us, sometimes when we see superiors, there could be like in this case, his mother and father were equal in terms of like superiority, right? I mean, as parents, we see parents equally. Like that, if we see superiors equally, and if we get like, who do we, if we get like conflicting or not necessarily conflicting, who do we give priority to? Like in this case, he could have given, benefit of doubt to his mother and not followed the order, right? I mean, equal superiors, and how do we choose between, what to follow, I guess is the question.
Okay, so first let's clarify Parashuram's situation. From a Vedic paradigm, father is held more superior. Okay, and that's why the Gayatri mantra also comes from the father's side. In that sense, I don't want to hurt feminine sentiment. That's not my intention. That's one reason. Second, in the case of Renuka Devi, there was a hint of an error, and that is how Jamadagni knew. Because Kartavira Arjuna, down that stream that he was there, she for a moment stood there and was enamored by that circumstance of Kartavira Arjuna being there. And so she had the power to carry water in her sari pallu by her chastity. But because there was a slight error or slight deviation from it, that potency was not there. So Jamadagni knew, hey, she didn't bring any water. Yes, and his solution was very intense. But Parashuram followed it, knowing that if I please my father, the same person who's giving such a strong, punishment per se, will say, you've pleased me very much, ask me anything and I will ask him to bring my mother back to life. So that's it. Now, what is important is, I didn't say it, and I guess I should have, is follow the order of the superior also means that the superior should be qualified to give an order. The superior is not just superior by position necessarily. They should be qualified. They should be speaking from the standpoint of dharma. Then follow the order. Otherwise, adharmic, you cannot follow. If suppose someone superior tells them, hey, go murder someone or do something that is against dharma, you don't say, yeah, Ramachandra said follow order of superior. No, you won't. Is that clear, Rajpati?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so then who do we hold as superior? Are they equal? Not necessarily. But there they become superior by standing on the platform of dharma. Then they are superior. And so the verse we read a couple of weeks ago, where Lord Ramachandra held as superiors three categories of people: Shila Vriddhai, Jnana Vriddhai, and Vayo Vriddha. In that order. Shila Vriddhai, one who is a superior by character. Second, Jnana Vriddhi, one who's superior by knowledge. Maybe full character may not manifest, but they have knowledge. And the third is Vayo Vriddha, one who's superior in age.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was really helpful.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
All right.
Prabhu.
Haribol, Dhira Lalita Prabhu.
No, sir, Prabhu, I am Harish, brother-in-law of the Lalit.
Oh, okay. You're Adhira Lalita.
Whatever, you can call me that, Prabhu.
I'm only joking. Please don't take it seriously.
No, Prabhu, it's fine. So I was asking one, how can, you tell that Rama was going, I mean, there is a very devastating situation over there, and as soon as Dasharatha told Rama to just leave you go to forest, and he was still in very stable situation. He is completely, I mean, he doesn't feel, I mean, his emotion is not even changed a single bit. Okay, but what about him? But Ram was a supreme personality of Godhead, so he can have such qualities. But what about us? I mean, we are so. I mean, at least about me, I'm very fallen. So how can I control myself? So that is my question.
Well, you hear Ramayana, and that's how we're supposed to learn. No? That is why we're meeting every week to consider. So, in Lord Ramachandra, although supreme personality of Godhead, he keeps saying again and again, Atmana Manusham Manye. I consider myself a human being. That means he is experiencing, or he's sort of operating, I shouldn't say experiencing, he's operating in the same field that we're operating. Of course, because he has Sheila, Sushila, his character is very, very strong. So he's teaching us to make our character also very strong. Not that it's weak, at least not in your case, but at least he's asking a human being to make our character very strong. That was how I started the session today, that we have to pay a price. And the price is the discomfort. The price is the burning from saying, no, I will stay steadfast on the path of dharma. There is a burning there. There is discomfort. There is pain. But that pain is good. Are you married? Do you have children?
Hare Krishna, I'm married, but I don't have any children.
So you already are one of us. You're pained like anything. No, but my point, jokes aside, suppose you have so suppose you have a child, okay, and the child says, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to get up in the morning, I don't want to do homework, I want to play. You will say, yeah, I know it's uncomfortable, I know studying can be boring, it curbs your freedom. That's the price you pay for becoming a person of character. It puts discipline, it puts education, it makes you aware, or whatever. I'm not debating what kind of education, but you get the idea. So that's the price we pay. You've heard the phrase, no pain, no gain, right?
Yes, bro.
No. So in that sense, not that it's universally applicable, but the point is, there is a price to pay. And that price, we realize later, but it's definitely a price to pay. So how about us, like you and I, common people? Life is giving us enough opportunities. Life is giving us enough shocks and turnarounds and reversals. Life is giving us enough challenges. Are we not?
Yes, bro.
Are we not challenged? Of course. Every day we're challenged. So let's learn from Ramayana and let's apply. However, at least we can remember, oh, Lord Ramachandra was so amazingly dhira in this situation. His situation is very big. Because he's Supreme Personality of Godhead, he got a big challenge. No kingdom, go to the forest right now. Because we are small, we get small challenges that are in proportion, they look big for us. But the same teachings are available to us also.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dil
Hare-
Kasi.
Oh, the real one.
Prabhu, I'm waiting for the husband-wife joke, Prabhu. You said in the beginning.
What joke? The husband-wife joke?
Yes, Prabhu.
When Shyam said, oh, this class was amazing, whatever accolades he said, it reminded me of a joke a comedian says. He says, listen, I don't say like this. I want to first disqualify. I don't say like this. But he was saying that women are exclusively gifted in ways and means that men are not. So he gives an example. He says, for example, women are so qualified that they can take a compliment and make that a perfect argument. Okay? So here's what suppose the husband says, today you're looking very beautiful. The immediate answer is, so yesterday I was not beautiful? All these years I was not beautiful?
Okay, I got it, Prabhu.
So when Shyam said today's class was good, I was going to say, so all these classes were not good so far? Of course, I'm not, therefore I'm not qualified to be a perfect woman. I'm just teasing because he and I offline have a lot of banter with each other.
Yes, Prabhu.
As soon as he said it, it sort of reminded me of that. But
Thank you.
offer my obeisances to your wife. You are very fortunate. She's a wonderful person.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
She has Tejaswini. She will burn me to ashes from all the way from there. Yashaswini. Yashaswini.
Pranam Prabhu.
And Tejaswini. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other final question, comment?
Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Pranavallabha Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question actually. You said don't hold responsible the instrument of your karma.
Yes.
So how to come to that level, Prabhu?
By not holding someone responsible. How to come to a level? If let's say the fruit is on the tree, or we were playing cricket and the ball is on the roof of someone's home, what did we do? We cannot jump to the roof. So we put a ladder and you take a step on that ladder, right? So take a ladder, and before not blaming or holding responsible, consider, is this person someone I can hold responsible? Should I hold them responsible? Or is there another way to look at all of this? How would Krishna like me to look at all of this? What did Ramachandra do? That's when you put a ladder to a wall. The wall is Ramachandra in the sense of solid support on which we put a ladder of inquiry. And on that ladder of inquiry, you step one by one and also get the same strength that the wall has. Right? But if the ladder is weak, then it will break. So the easier way to answer your question, apply somewhere. Apply in a small situation. Start somewhere. Not that you don't do. You are very good at it. Just speaking in general. Start somewhere. Apply somewhere and let that realization grow. If you don't apply at all, then you're not sowing the seed for that realization. So such a realized seed will never go. If I never sow a seed, a mango seed, I will never get a mango tree. True? So our application is actually sowing of the seed of that realization. Okay, should we stop? 11:20. Thank you very much. If you have other questions, hold off until we meet next Saturday. Thank you very much for joining today. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Ramayana ki jai.
Prabhu ki jai.